Hello and welcome to episode 42 of Let's Run Facebook Ads, the podcast with me, Nick Bonington, and James Urquhart. Today's episode is called The Dark Side of Facebook Engagement. We're talking about using engagement campaigns to get social proof, the correct way to do it, and the dodgy way to do it. So let's kick on in. Morning, James Urquhart.
Nicholas, how are we?
All right. Yeah, good, thanks. So we thought this morning, James has basically read an article, which I don't think he can find, but he has read an article, and it sort of takes us back to some of the stuff that we used to do right at the beginning for some clients and for our own little escapades to get social proof. And your article was about how Facebook has basically taken a while to catch up on this, the reasons behind it, and then we're going to lead on to how you should do proper engagement campaigns to create social proof. So what's this article about then?
Well, this article I found, it was on Vice, so I will find it again. But it was essentially, you can pay a company or a scammer company. You can pay this business $60 to get your competitor's Instagram account banned.
Everyone's ears have suddenly pricked up.
Yeah, I know. And as I was reading it, going, well, that's absolutely cheap as anything. So I think they need to up their market price. But it just took me back in terms of what we've done in the past with one client, which obviously we don't agree with ethically.
We don't do it. We don't do it for our clients now.
No, but it did work, and I guess it's just that social proof. When people see certain pages and they see that they've got vast amount of followers, I think people now are a lot more astute in terms of knowing that that is fake. When you're looking at someone like Holland and Barrett, we know they're going to have vast amount of followers. But if you're a two bob outfit from down the road selling, I don't know, beach balls, and you've got 2 million followers, social proof goes out the window, in my opinion.
Yeah. And there's certain products that need certain social proof as well. Like we did it with that sort of fitness thing that we sort of got involved with, didn't we? And it was like, okay, we need loads of social proof on this because we're obviously trying to sell like a t-shirt, but we wanted the audience or people who see that ad to think that loads of people have liked it. So basically what you do is you create an ad campaign the same way as you do it legitimately, and then and I'm going to go into that in a bit, but you send it to basically Thailand, Bangladesh, places like that, and it's super cheap. It's like £3. What was it, like £3 would get us 3,500-4,000 likes on an ad?
It was a vast amount. The company we did it for, which was a sort of lottery car company, this was well over a year now. We got them something like 15 to 20,000 followers, and I paid for it, and I'm pretty sure it cost me like $45, $60. It wasn't a lot of money at all. It was pennies.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Victor, one of my consultancy clients, he's created that to help with swimming training. So you lie on the box that he's created, and you have these straps on your hands which are like paddles, and you pull yourself along. And we were going through his ads and stuff, and he's doing great, selling loads of his products, like doing really, really good. But I said, you know what, you could probably do with more social proof on these ads, because obviously you've set an ad up, you set it up for conversion campaigns, you're going out there to get it, and he's getting conversions, which is great. But then how many more conversions could you get? Because how many people are going to see that and go, it only had 2 likes, and this is a new product. And people do look at that, don't they, when they're online? So it's not saying to him, right, let's go send it to Thailand. Even he actually knew that way of doing things, but he's like, no, I can't have a load of Thai names and Indian names and on this when someone clicks on, who likes this product, which I don't know whether they do or not, but you're going to see a lot of the same sort of names. But just legitimately getting people out there. So I'm going to, in very shortly, tell you how you create this sort of campaign using an ad. But yeah, so it works. So his one needs that social proof. I believe he needs a bit of social proof, and it's like I don't know, he could probably spend £3 a day on that ad. It's nothing in the background, and all it does is create likes, comments, and shares for that ad. Like good engagement from the markets that he's trying to get into.
And I think there's a difference there between good and bad engagement. You know, if you look at the drop shippers that have, you know, been around for, you know, 10 plus years now, and they've done it obviously very successfully, they were the early adopters of getting that social proof, going out to the, you know, these sort of behind nations and getting these likes because we know it's so cheap, and it worked. But I think what, you know, even me as a consumer, I was on Instagram the other day and I saw an ad and I can't remember what it was for, and I actually went on to the comments and they're all like just bogus. They were just like random comments, like clearly nothing to do with the product. It was just, you know, clearly just, you know, just someone doing it to get that social proof. That's bad engagement. I think now consumers are a lot more astute in terms of what they're looking at, and even to the point of going through to a landing page and looking at the reviews. I think people now are really understanding it more, which is good thing.
So you don't think it's just because you understand this marketplace, so you're looking into it? You think consumers become more savvy to looking at it, or do you think they've got blinkers on because they've seen something, they want it?
I think there's some products that are an impulse buy. So as long as there's some, and even to, you know, very little social proof, I think they'll go ahead and still purchase. But I think when you look at, you know, higher ticket items, or actually, if we go back onto your blog that you did on your podcast by yourself last week, and you were talking about the actual in comments on that clickbaity blog ad that we did. Now, yes, it was engagement, and actually to a degree it was good in engagement, but it was bad in terms of what the objective was.
Yeah, well, because we've created something that it's a bit clickbaity, but it's creating negative conversation.
Yeah, and then what's that obviously in turn is going to do is it's going to bring in the wrong type of leads into that business ecosystem, and obviously their sales funnel, which isn't clearly then good for the sales team, and obviously their ROI on the campaign. But that's a really good example of putting something out there. And if you were just to look at the, you know, if you were to put your blinkers on and just look at that ad in its you know, by itself and go, well, it's got loads of likes, it's got vast amount of comments, people are clicking through at a very cheap cost, the dwell time on the blog is high, that's a success, isn't it?
Yeah.
But actually, because when you go that little bit step further and you then look at what, you know, what's the outcome of that, it's not great. You know, it's not actually exactly what we need. So then you need to, you know, reverse engineer. But that's a really good example of something that from afar you'd go, amazing engagement, fantastic. Not actually, it isn't on this one, you know, which is odd, because you'd think that, you know, those comments, you know, would work really well. But
So what we're doing is we're writing a new blog. We've written a new blog. I think we're in the process of doing that now, aren't we? And we're going to put another hook on it. And it will be, you want, for those sort of things, you want that sort of clickbaity hook. But you need to have truth at the end of it. You can't just go, you know, because a lot of these ads and stuff like that, and I think everyone listening to this understands that there's a lot of crap out there, isn't there? But, you know, one thing that actually, I'll tell you one thing that you can look at. And I was reading an article on like the Daily Express or something online, these online newspapers. A really good place to go to get ideas of headlines is on these online newspapers. Newspapers are really, really good at writing headlines. And honestly, obviously, there's a lot on the algorithm of these, so things you've been looking at the internet and stuff like that. But take your time to read. Go on to like the Daily Mail online, because they are full of adverts, and look at how those ads headlines are. They're really, really clickbaity, but actually taking you somewhere. But they're very well written. So if you're needing ideas for that, because it's the same with the engagement, because these ads, like we've said, we go back 5 episodes when we're talking about what you do to get someone to click through, to raise those click-through rates, etc. It's got to be enticing. It's got to want to bring someone in, and you've got to try it. Like you said, you need to step out your comfort zone, do some things better, because we are coming to quarter 4, and quarter 4 is going to get a lot busier on this platform. And you can't just be sitting on your laurels going, oh, that's worked before. You need to really push things out of it and get people to click through. What's going to make you stand out from everyone else? And it works to the engagement and the social proof as well.
But is standing out having 4,500 likes on an ad? So
I think it's an individual basis, isn't it, of what you think that product, like go back to Victor's, it's £115 high ticket product, isn't it? It's new to the market. People haven't seen that before. So for people listening, if you've heard of a rowing machine, imagine a rowing machine you're lying down on, but you're pulling it two different ropes. That's what's already on the market. And he's like taken that away, changed it so that it's more adaptable to take away with you, travel with, put away in the corner of your room, blah, blah. So it's quite a new concept, isn't it? And you've always got that thing of when we take on clients and stuff. I mean, we had a call with the team this morning with a client product that we're getting loads of interest from the ad. They've got like 225 landing page views, but they've only got 3 add to carts. Now, 225 landing page views, if you listen to this podcast, I think you all know what I want as an add to cart. It's a 10%. So there should be 22, 25 add to carts on that. Everyone's bouncing. So it's not the ad's fault. The ad's working. It's bringing through the people, but those people then aren't sold on wanting to spend 20 quid on that product. So even though you could even class that as an impulse buy, so you've got to start looking at this. Well, we're going into another podcast really. Why an add to cart page doesn't work? Don't know what I was talking about. What got me on this?
Nick, who knows? Who knows? But I think when you see an ad, there's certain things that, let's say we go buy a car, okay, and we've got a list of things that we look for. What's the mileage? How many owners has it had? Is all the MOTs been done by a good MOT guy?
Mechanic.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, really into my cars. Is it clean? All that stuff. What the cost is. So I think there's certain things that we look for when we buy, let's say, a car. But when we buy online, do we do the same? So automatically we see a headline. That's interesting. Then do we look at the image for again, proof, social proof that this is a good product?
Yeah.
Does it fit my needs? Yes, it does. Great. Click them more, because there's clearly more copy than there is than we can see. You read the copy. Actually, I'm interested in this. Then do they look a little bit below before they click the like? Click now, or find out more, or whatever that may be.
Just a very slight gaze over likes, comments, and shares.
Is it a gaze? And is it something that in your peripherals you're like, oh, there's nothing there, so I'll go on? Or is it, oh, there's something that I'll click on?
Yeah. I think it is. I think social proof is important like that. I think it's kind of like
I think it's probably real, that, hasn't it? I think there's got to be some reality to it, because if you look at, let's say, Victor's product. So I've got Victor's product. I've not yet used it because I'm trying to get over COVID. And it's fantastic. Like, for a product to come in the way it has, it looks like a proper company from the outside.
I'd like to see that. Have you still got? You send me pictures of it. I'd like to see how that came, actually.
Yeah, imagine like an Apple box.
Really.
Honestly, the design, it's slick. So you're getting this, box. You're like, okay, this is mustard. This is really, really good. I wouldn't expect that from a £115 product from some company online I've clicked on. I would.
Yeah.
Because the problem is we're up against, I know we've touched on this before, Amazon. Okay. Amazon, we all know what the boxes are, but they're a bit boring now, aren't they, getting an Amazon box? You sort of know what you're getting. Whereas, you get the product, but there's no actual what's the word? There's no niceties to it, is there? It's just a box and your product's shoved in. Normally it's about a 10-foot box. You only bought a ring, whereas this is like smart, and that's the social proof as well. You're getting some proof that once you've received it, that this is a good.
Well, do you know what? So here we go. So on his demographics, right? We're at the point now where we're looking to where people are buying from and stuff like that, because you're in that zone of, I want to sell in Germany, I want to sell in Norway, I want to sell here. Where are you selling the most of? UK and America. in America at the moment, because his product's not sitting in a distribution house in America, they're paying £54 delivery. £54 delivery on top of a £115 product to get that product.
Nick, I'll tell you now, it's a good enough product.
Yeah. Like, he'll fly with that. He's doing, like, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant how he's doing it. And he's so, like, for anyone listening now, like, if you've got your own product or whatever, you're trying to push yourself, the level of detail that he's learned from before he came on with us to learn from us, the way he writes his ads, the copy, the imagery, the way he shot the videos using the product. It's like I suppose like drop shipping or new product launch on Facebook 101 for dummies. Like, amazing. That's what you need to go into to make something go out the door like that.
So back onto the actual sort of point of this podcast.
Engagement
would you say going out to India, Thailand, etc., to get likes, is it something you'd recommend now? So let's say
it's the product, isn't it? Not for Victor. If you're doing it, would you not do it? Like, even if it's just a t-shirt and you're just going out to the masses of the t-shirt?
No, I just think it devalues the and I know we've spoken about brand on this a lot, and about obviously you can't create a brand without sales. So we know that. But on this one, it's really hard because I've seen some products that I would have potentially have bought, but it's so unrealistic. It reminds me of a bit like a market, going to an old style market, like Welly Market down the road from us, Wellsville Market. You see some of the products, you're like, God, that's so bloody cheap. I don't believe it. And it's because you're being sold to by, a market stall guy. No disrespect to anyone on the market stalls, by the way. But you know what I mean? I think sometimes it's just so unrealistic. You're like, well, sure, that can't be true. Things like ticket raffles and stuff, there needs to be that social proof. I know, and I get that. So that's why we done that particular one. It's the only one we've ever done it for. And even at the time, I wasn't overly keen, but we had to do it for them. But I think for any other products, I'm just not, personally, I'm not sold on it, personally. Obviously, we're in the market, so we understand it more. So sometimes I look at stuff and go, oh, that's really good or that's really bad. But I know that I'm looking at it in a different perspective than most people on the platform, so I get that. But I think it just, like I said, I just think a lot of it just really devalues it. And if someone's on there and they see, like you said, a t-shirt with like 1 million likes, you're surely just going to go, well, this can't be true, surely.
Or maybe it's getting them out of social proof right. Typical drop shipping t-shirts, stuff like that. Drop shipping jewelry. Those typical products.
I just think, I'm obviously, we do paid ads. That's what we do. I'm still a big believer. If you can get a headline, get that creative on point, get that copy absolutely spot on, that will do the work for you. And
so would you not even send it out to the UK? So like Victor getting engagement, not even send it out to say, well, £3 a day, you're just going to create engagement on those ads.
Yeah, sorry, absolutely. I would do that, but going out to the masses in some of the the newer nations,
Thailand or whatever.
Yeah, I just don't. Because the problem is, because it's so cheap, you're going to get a lot really quickly.
The other thing it affects, though, James, on the negative is if your strategy is a 7-day stack and things like that, you're also going to be creating a lot of shit is going to your Facebook and Instagram engagement, which are then going to go into your pixel, which are then going to go into your engagement audiences, and it's not in the strategy. Whereas the UK market, Victor goes out to Germany, America, UK to get legitimate likes of people who are interested in swimming and training and Ironmans and triathlons. That product, they're actually people he wants engaging with his audience for the 7-day stack. But you've got to be careful because the 7-day stack works really, really well, as we know, because that's true people who've gone onto that page for a reason, not just. But then if your audience, if you're actually going to, and we'll go into this how you set this up, if your audience is actually truly quite niche of, I don't know, 1 million people in the UK who are into triathlon and also Ironman and also swimming, they're still people that are going to be interested in your product.
Definitely. I think going out to the UK and the markets you're actually in, I think I've got no issue with that, as long as obviously it's the right it's the right audience. Something I was going to pick up on was what you've just said, Dana, about actually your pixel and what your pixel's seeing. If you're seeing massive amounts of likes and followers, etc., from, let's say, Thailand, India, wherever it may be, it's not going to help you in the long term. We know that because it's the wrong demographic, and you're going to essentially confuse in a way your pixel. It will be like, what, obviously, we know it's sophisticated, but it's not going to be doing what it needs to do. And again, it goes back to that blog. What's good in engagement and what's bad in engagement? Yes, you can look from afar and go, that ad has got 500,000 likes. I'm going to sell an absolute shitload of t-shirts. Maybe. But
yeah, well, that's what these drop shippers are trying to do. It's a product. Let's say a fidget spinner. Back in the day, some of the Kevin David of the world or whatever who made his first fortune drop shipping fidget spinners, but they were in and out before we all knew about. Oh, I'm going to sell some fidget spinners. They were in and out, made millions. But they were right. Social proof from wherever. This is about getting someone on that page, converting X amount of them, make money in it for 3 months, done.
Yeah, so I think there's some good engagement, which takes real true engagement takes time and it takes money. We know the algorithm with Facebook and Instagram now we understand it. But look at Reels. Facebook and Instagram. For people that don't know, they are trying to help people grow organically again. So that is something that they're really trying to promote. On Instagram, especially using Reels. Nick, we've seen, growth from using Reels and the reach that you can get, and that's organic. Obviously, it's a bit different than the old days of just posting, put some hashtags, but it is working. So
yeah, you've just got to be repetitive again with it, haven't you? I mean, I'm trying to do like 2 or 3 a week to be realistic, and you get getting like 700 people who don't know me seeing it. But if I'm always featuring in their Explorer, they're going to start seeing you more and more and more and more, and that hopefully is going to create that person to go to your page, like it, follow it, or whatever. But like everything's like this podcast channel, you've just got to be consistent with it.
Yeah, and it is, like I said, it is difficult because especially when you first start a brand or a business, whatever it is you're promoting on Facebook or Instagram, you want that quick win. You want, oh, we've got 100 likes, we've got 100 followers. Okay, now we've got 200. Look at us with this podcast. It's taken us 45 episodes to get to, we're just about to hit 12,000 downloads. Now, you look from afar and go, it's not very good. But actually, the quality of the people that, to people listening to this are fantastic. And the feedback that I get via email, and we've met people like Mark, Victor, Tom, these people, there's quality. We could have used one of these podcast agencies and got out to the masses quickly, but it's the wrong type of audience. And yes, it takes a little bit longer, but as long as you're in it for the long run, it will come. But it's just this.
Be patient.
Yeah, you've got to be patient. It's just this, going out to different markets and countries and getting these cheap likes. And I'm just not sold on it now. I think people are more savvy online, especially since COVID. I think people understand it more, and yeah, it's not something that I promote at all personally. I know we've done some campaigns for some very big brands, Nick, just to get followers. They were spending quite a bit, weren't they? 40 grand a month at one point just to create followers, which is just, when you think of it now, it's madness, really.
And that's just one of their little channels. That's just one of their little KPIs. Oh, we need, I want 100,000 followers by the end of next month or whatever. How much we need to put into that?
Yeah, it was absolutely nuts. But I think, the point of this podcast is really to understand what's good engagement, what's bad engagement. Yes, there are some dark arts to it, if you want to go down that route. And it is cheap. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure it's working for some businesses. I'm just not, personally, like we said, we've done it for one business, not something I promote now. But there is ways of doing it while using Reels. And also just as long as, like I said, as long as your product is going out to our audience and your messaging is right, and your creative is right, and you're really hooking these people into your product or services, that's all you need. Some of the things I've clicked on recently, I haven't had loads of social proof because the product or service is really good. so it's not that it won't work. It just sometimes helps, doesn't it, for some consumers?
Yeah.
It's not something I'd definitely worry about too much. But the fact there are companies now out there, going back onto the article that I read on Vice about being able to shut down competitors' Instagram accounts.
Surely Facebook and Instagram can help fix that though, can't they?
Wow.
If it happens.
Do you know what? Right, this is the irony of this article. As you get down to the bottom, it then says there's been a competitor open up, which will then charge someone to reinstate that account.
Jesus Christ.
So I don't know how. I'd like to think it's the same company. If the guys or girls are intelligent, we'll take from here and then take from there to reinstate it.
Absolutely.
But it's harsh, though, isn't it? To think that that's going on. The article did say, that Facebook and Instagram are trying to, detect who these are. But the problem is, what they're doing is they're going in with things like, I think it was like self-harm and stuff, and why they want their accounts to be deleted. Now, as we know with the the press at the moment, especially in the UK with things like racism and stuff, they will shut stuff down pretty quickly. So they're using that to their advantage, but it is, like I said, there is some dark arts to this world, and it's pretty scary, really.
Yeah. Well, shall I go over how you do this? So people are thinking now, how do you actually do an engagement campaign? So you go and create your ad with that, I hope it's a conversion ad or whatever. So you've created an ad and you've set that ad live. You're then going to go into your ads manager and you're going to go to the ad. When you're in the ad, you are going to, let me just go here. So let's say you're on the ad now. Where you're on your ad page, you're going to scroll down slightly and you'll see a preview. And at the top of the right-hand side of that preview box, you're going to see a little drop down. And when you drop on that, it will say, see Facebook post with comments. Click on that. That'll then open your Facebook post with comments. And you'll look in your URL in the top of your browser, which will be facebook.com, a load of gobbledygook numbers. And right at the end, you'll see ID. That ID is what you need to copy and paste. That is your ad ID, okay? Then what you do is you go back into Ads Manager and you create a new campaign and you choose engagement campaign. You name your engagement campaign how you like. You go straight down through to your ad page, and just under the top, you've got ad name, you've got identity, which is your Facebook and Instagram account, and then you've got ad setup. And in ad setup, it will automatically default to create ad. You're going to drop down and you're going to select use existing post. When you use existing post, underneath will give you an ad creative of select post or create post. And in little letters just underneath, which allows you to click on as a link, there's enter post ID. You click that and you copy and paste in that ID that you just took from that URL. Now you've just recreated that ad exactly like it is. Now, think about your audience. Think about what James has been talking about with the UK or whatever your demographics. Go back into your ad set and start creating the audience that you want to target that are legitimately going to be interested in your product, whether that's UK, swimming, triathlon, or whatever, like I explained with Victor. Put your budget on there, how to set up an ad, and republish the ad. Now, what this ad's going to do, this is going to be an engagement campaign going out to that audience in the UK for triathletes to see that post and engage with it. And Facebook is going to show that post to people who engage with Facebook posts or Instagram posts, which is, engaging, commenting, likes and shares. But what will happen is, because you've used the same Facebook ID of that ad, what's going to happen, you're basically duplicating that ad onto Facebook using the same ID. So if someone likes that ad on the engagement, it'll also show up as a like on the engagement of the true conversion ad that you had set up originally. That is how you basically set up an engagement campaign. You could go the other way around. You could do an engagement campaign, and I found this out. This is a bit of a weird way of doing it, and it doesn't work as well as I wanted to. You could do the engagement campaign first, get to 2,000 likes, then use the ad ID of the engagement campaign and put it in to the new conversion. The problem is the only downside to this is you can't change anything to do with the legitimate ad you want. So if you go from a conversion campaign that's already set up and make that into an engagement campaign, you've already got a conversion campaign that's working. If you go the other way, engagement to conversion, it means you can't go into your conversion campaign because it will reset. You're making too many changes to the actual ad and it will reset and get rid of your social proof. So the way I would go is create the ad you want, have it live, doing what you want to, getting orders, and take that ad ID and then recreate an engagement campaign. I will actually go through and show you how to do this in the group. So if you're not in the group, go onto the group and go in there, and we'll get that one set up for you and shown on a video. There you go. So that's how you do it. Okay, well, I think we'll wrap this up now. So I think people know what engagement campaign is now, don't they? And when to use it, when to not use it. And basically they can decide if someone's listening to this and they've got a product they think actually, or they want to just test it out, do what you want, you know, if you want to send it to Thailand and just see how many likes you get or whatever. But we have put through the warnings of whether to do that or not.
Yeah, don't ask my advice.
Yeah, but moral of the story is social proof can work. It depends on your product. If it's to millions of people, then you know it's probably going to put people off, especially if it's a complete unknown brand. Maybe have a look at some of your competitors and look at some of the ads that they're running and see what sort of legitimate social proof they might have on each of their ads. And if they're all getting about 4,000 likes and you're trying to get to that marketplace, then maybe set yourself a little bit of a ceiling of 2, 3, 4,000 likes on yours and see if it works.
Yeah, I think just make it realistic, isn't it? I think, like I said, the ones that just look absurd, I think just there is it creates that red flag for most consumers.
I don't think it's going to answer. It's not like, oh, I can't get my conversion ad campaign to work. I need 6 ROAS. I should have set up an engagement campaign. Oh, look, it's gone up to 7 ROAS from 2. It's not going to happen.
Well, that's my point, though. It's not going to do that. It's not going to change the world in terms of what you're doing. So that's why when I look at it now, opposed to back then, I'm like, well, if it's not going to make it's just not. The algorithm and Facebook and your pixel and the product, that does the work, not a little heart that's been clicked. So,
and with Instagram, am I right in thinking now? I mean, you're probably thinking, Nick, you should know this, but it's an organic stuff, and you and I hardly even use that platform. I'm being educated on how to do a reel and get music on it at the moment. Little hack there, actually. Well done, Liv, in our team for doing that. So, because I've got a business account, I can't put, how these reels, you've got like middle-aged women doing little dances to the top music, like Ed Sheeran and stuff. When I press the music to put on the top, I don't get any of this music. What Liv did, she did some research on the hacks to do this, and she changed my profile to entrepreneur from business. I think I was like business person or something like that. Changed it to entrepreneur in my settings. And then I got all the music and I got all the things that all other people get on a business account. So there you go. So if you've got a business account and you're wanting to do reels because you're seeing there and you want to push yourself out there and you don't get this music, change your profile to being an entrepreneur, and it seems to have worked.
More engagement there.
Little hat.
Just one more thing before we go. Again, if people are listening, if they can just give us a little review, 5 stars, no comments needed, just a little 5-star review.
So they don't even have to write comments?
They can do. It's not.
Doesn't matter though, the algorithm, it's the stars, is it?
Not imperative, just 5 stars, that'd be, it helps out.
Help us grow. Yeah, I got a little bit of I was listening to a podcast the other day, it's not a competitor to ours, and they'd basically gone, yeah, we've got 7 million downloads. I'm like, jeez.
Hey, Nick, it may be the wrong quality of audience and traffic.
Might be, yeah. Vanity.
Who knows? Anyway, I've got a meeting, Nick, so lovely to hear from you.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
See you, bye.